Here we go. Caesar, Chapter 2, Civil War, 17th of August 2022. Chapter 3, Misso ad vesperum senatu omnes. So we've got ablative absolute here, and ad vesperum means at twilight, basically. Vespers at twilight. The Senate being dismissed. Then we have omnes qui sunt, all those who sunt, who are in the present tense, but they were of this order, of a certain order. We'll find out what more. By Pompeo e vocantur. So they were called by Pompey, all those who were of his order, so all his lackeys or friends. Laudat promptos, that's accusative plural. Pompeius, here's our nominative. So Pompeius laudated, he praised, or promptos, these are already at hand. Atqui and in posterum confirmat. So we've got two verbs here. So he's praising those who are there at hand, and he strengthened them in posterum, which means into the future. The segnorios, this is a plural comparative for those who are more slower. Castigate, we have that word in English. He castigated and incited them, those who are more slower to be excited in following him. Multi, which means many people, could mean many things, but probably means many people. Uniqui, that's from everywhere. Ex veteribus Pompei exertibus. So from old armies, we have got plural ablatives from that preposition. So many from the old armies of Pompey, from everywhere. Spe, we've got a fifth ablative. So in the hope of a genitive of rewards, premiorum, and ordinum evocantur. We're using the same word, evocantur, there and there. So they, the enter means they. So they were called upon with the hope of rewards, and this is their order. This would mean promotions, probably, going up a step in grade. And multi, again, we've got multi. And many were from the duobus legionibus, from the two legions, quae which sunt tredice eis Caesare, which had been handed over from Caesar, or surrendered by Caesar. Arce suntur, here's the final verb, which means they were summoned. So there are many from his old armies, hoping for rewards and promotions, and many from Caesar's too were summoned as well to be recruited. Completor urbs, so the city was completor, city was filled, and ipsum comitium, which is an assembly, tribunus, this comes from the word for tribe, but a tribune of the plebs is what's going on. And so the assembly of the plebs itself, we've got going straight into ablative plural, so with centurions, and with these are like officers basically. So the city was filled, and the committee itself with centurions evocatus. These were called together. Omnes amici, so all the friends, this is nominative plural, it looks like. Consulum, this is a third, so it's a genitive plural. So all the friends of the consul, necessare, these are like the friends to Pompey, or you could call them people who were gathered to his side, and eorum, this is another genitive plural. So those friends of Pompey and all of those, qui, who, veteres inimicatus, however we pronounce that. These are old people who have hostilities, cum Caesar, with Caesar, Garabant. So they're holding grudges basically, and they're enemies of Caesar. In the Senate, in senatum, in with the accusative means into or towards. Coganta means they were forced or they were collected together. So all these friends of the consuls and the friends of Pompey and those who had hostilities with Caesar, they all came together in the Senate. Quorum, of which vocibus and concurso, this is ablative plural and ablative singular, Tarentor infirmiores, this is a comparative which is basically becoming a noun. So of which with their voices, or their whatever they were saying, and concurse, this is their coming together, terrified those people who were weaker in their political power probably, or in their alliances. And dubi, those who are dubious or hesitating, confirmanta, they become stronger. They become, so by their voices and coming together to terrify those who are weaker, strengthen those who are hesitant, plerisqui. So most of them, viro, is but. So but most of them, libere descendi, we have a gerund, potestas irripida. But for most of them was taken away, irripited their power of discerning, of this gerund. Libere, it's got a couple of meanings. It probably means, it's an adverb, I think it's being used as here. So their freedom of the power of being able to decide for themselves. Polikitos, so someone promised something. El piso, the censor, that's an apposition of nominative. So el piso, the censor, promised. Say himself, iturum, he's about to go, so he would go ad Caesarem, he would go to Caesar. Item, likewise, el Roscius praetor, another apposition, and likewise the praetor Lucius Roscius. Qui, who, got a bit of a purpose here, concerning his rebus, concerning these things, him, Caesar, he would teach him, also it basically means he would go there for the purpose of informing Caesar about these matters that are going on. And we'll make our daily dictionary thing here. The adverb libere, frankly, freely, shamelessly. So it's probably freely is its main translation. 6 dies, we took 6 days ad rem, eum's female and rem's female, to this matter, conficiendam, it's gerundive because we've got the nd followed by the am in the accusative. So to complete, basically this means, so 6 days to complete this matter, spate, that means a space of 6 days, postulant, they demanded. Dicunta, this is passive, so nt shows that there's plural people doing, so there was some people saying, etiam even, ab non nullus, from some, non nullus means some, so not none means some. So some even were saying, this sententiae, this sentiment, this opinion, ut is our purpose, that legati, this becomes the nominative plural, that legates be sent ad Caesarem to Caesar. Qui, who, they're going to have some purpose, their voluntatem senatus, so this is the will of the Senate. Senatus is a genitive fourth. Ei means to Caesar, to him, that's a demonstrative probe. So proponent, so they would place pro in front of Caesar, the will of the Senate. They'd explain it to him. 4. Omnibus his resistor. So we've got the ablative here. So with all these things, resisted, and omnibus, from the enclitic qui, oratio consolus, Scipionis Catonus opponator. So orations, just what was being discussed or what was going on. So for all of these plans were opposed, opponated, and we have the genitive by conversations of Scipio and Cato, and we've got the consul. That's that sentence. Catonem, the accusative, veteres inimicate Caesaris. So old hatreds of old hostilities to Caesar, of Caesar. So with old hatred of Caesar, incitant, these things incited Cato, the accusative. We had the NT showing that it's these plurals here, the old hostilities that were inciting Cato. And dolor, that's his grief or pain, of repulsion, repulse, because Cato didn't win consulship in 51. Lentulus, the nominative, aeris alieni, which basically means the bronze of another, or the copper of another. It's actually the term commonly used for debt. So lentulus magnitudine, so we're taking ablative, by, with, from, or in. So by the magnitude of his debts, and spe, in the hope, exercitus, of an army, and act takes the consonants, and atqui takes the non-consonants. So, but in the hope of an army and of the provinces, and regum, that's of kings, we've got a gerundive, appellandorum, which means something that'll be called or named, with largentinibus, these are bribes basically, and movitur, so this is the verb that's going on. So Lentulus, in the magnitude of his debts and hope of an army in the provinces, and moved by these large bribes of those who would be called kings, sequi, and himself, the enclitic, alterum fore, he would be an alterum, which means another, sulla. In the we've got accusative accuser. He would become another sulla, inter suos, amongst his own men. Suos, same means yourself, and suos means your own, which can mean your own property or your own friends. Gloriator, so he was boasting. Ad quam summa imperi rediat. Rede is a very common verb, just means to give, basically, in this basic translation. And to whom would be given the summa imperium, the utmost power, imperium. Scipionem, Scipio in the accusative. Eadem, it's a demonstrative pronoun which means certain, and ea and spes mean we're dealing with nominative here. So the same hope, provinciae, of a province, and exercitum, and of armies, impelled, because of this, the end here, it's just taking impel, it's just taking a singular use, but the hope of the province and of armies impelled Scipio, quos say, those who say for himself, pro necessitudine, abex de cum sine pro, or take the ablative. So, and by those necessary people, these are like friends, partiturum, of birth, so those who have been friends by birth, so of his family, quos, with Pompeo, he thought with Pompeo arbitrator. So he was thinking that with Pompeo, simul, and at the same time, metus, in fear of the judges or the law courts. We'll have to wait to get the end of the sentence to make more sense. Adulato and ostentatio sui. So adulation then, and showing off ostentatiousness to himself, and et potentiam, of those in power, qui, who in the republic, enclitic, and in these law courts, tum then, plurumum, or many. So then those who were powerful in the republic and the law courts, and then there was many, polybart. This is the second conjugation, means promising, strong, basically. So, take all that sentence in. Scipio, impelled by the hope of a province and armies, and because of the friends from his family line from when he was born, he was thinking that he would share power with Pompeo, but at the same time he was fearful of the law courts, so he used adulations and showing off to the powerful people who in that time, there were many of them who were strong in the republic. Ipsi Pompeia, so Pompey himself, ab inimicus Caesarus incitus, that's a past passive, the us takes Pompeius, so being incited by his hatred of Caesar, et, and because, quod, neminem dignitate, that's ablative, si cum exequari, that's a infinitive, volubat. So here's what's going on. So, stirred on by his hatred of Caesar, and quod, because he wanted neminem, no one, to be equal, si cum, with himself, in dignity, in worth, totem say, all of, say himself, ab eos amitica, from his friendship, this would be friendship with Caesar, averterat. So he turned all of those from this friendship from Caesar, and with communibus inimicus, so this is cum taking the ablative, and there's a double ablative. So with the common enemies, rederiat, he returned or reconciled into gratia, into their favour or grace, quorum, of which ipsi maximum, himself was a great maximum partem, a great part, illo, affinitas tempore junxerat Caesara. Okay, so we've been joined with affinity to Caesar. This means a relationship by marriage. So at that time he had been joined to Caesar, but then after the death of Julia, basically, he wasn't a blood relation and affinitus to him anymore. Simul, at the same time, infamia, the infamy, duarum legions promotus, so he's a past passive. So at the same time he was moved by the infamy of the 2 legions, quaes, which from their itinerary, from their journey of Asia and Syria, ad suam potentiam, to his own power, converterat, and dominion. So he's moved by this infamy. He got all these 2 legions. It converted them to his power and dominion. Rem, which is a matter, studibat, imperfect. So he was desirous of the matter, deduca, being led to arms. So he really wanted that to be brought to a head, so he wanted to fight. And chapter 5a. His de causis, this is ablative absolute, plurals. So done for these reasons. Aganto just means done. Omnia means everything. So everything was done. Raptum is an adverb meaning hastily, atqui, and turbate, and in confusion. So all these things, for these reasons, these causes, were done hastily and in confusion. So I'll finish it up. Nec docendi, that's the gerund. Neither the propinus Caesaris eos spatium dato. So neither was given a space for informing docendi, the relatives of Caesar. Neither, nec, tribunus plebs, neither the tribune of the plebs, sui pericolo, in their own danger, deprecande, for pleading in their own cases, nequi etiam, nor even extrema juris intercessi retinendi. So docendi and retinendi are gerunds. So of retaining, neither were they given this intercession, this of retaining, which is the last right, basic extrema juris. So they're voting, their intercession. So they weren't given a reason to given time to in their own danger to beg for their own cause or use their intercession of their vote. Quod which el sola reliquit facultas tributor, which Sulla had left them this opportunity. Tributor means it was given to them. This opportunity was given to them, left by Sulla, where they could make a veto. But de sua salte, concerning their own safety, septimo die cogitaro cogantur. Cogantur takes this infinitive. So they were forced, cogitaro, to think about this in septimo die, in 7 days. Quod ille turbulentissimi, which is a superlative, which to those who are the most turbulent or the most upsetting, I suppose, superioribus temporis, in the most, this is earlier times, superior temporibus, means an earlier time, tribune plebis, tribune of the plagues, octavo deniqui mensae. So in short, they were given 8 months suarum for this actions, respicere, to look over and inspect, and consularant timere. So all this is just one long sentence here, if you go back to nec. So they didn't give the space of time to tell Caesar's relatives, nor the tribunes of plagues time of worrying about this in their own danger, or of retaining their own veto, which Sulla had given them this faculty. And but they had only 7 days. They were forced to think of this with their own safety, which in the most turbulent of earlier times, the tribunes of plebs had 8 months to decide any action and to make this decision. And timere, they were in fear.